Last episode, we left off in the Ballywood Kingdom's palace where the group entering King Hamburger's office saw Bailey unconscious on the ground and Phipps almost shaking hands with the king. Then, Bailey woke up and the battle began. Battle began with Bailey and her 2 propulsion hand crossbows, which have so much power they destroyed giant wooden doors of the office in half, like causing an explosion. That's either power of Bailey's crossbows or she knows hockey and coats crossbow bolts with armament. In classic fashion, Noble's character is knocked unconscious by Bailey's powerful attacks. Unlike our favorite pirate captain, Bradley hides and now, group has problems with actually reaching Bailey and Phipps as they're on the higher platform. As I would describe, this is very similar to Tarako Kingdom Throne Room final battle scene, where Devil's Luck pirates fought Marrow and Valve in a high ceiling room with columns, stairs, and a lot of space. Bailey throws something to the side. We don't know what that is. Yoken, seeing her throwing something, decides to avoid that by going from another side. Kai, being terrified, finds strength to carry unconscious body of Damien out of the king's throne room and whistles to call for Bailey's wolf. And that whistle was just perfect. Taiga, still shocked after hearing about his brother's death, is just crying and tries to talk to Kane Kibbleton in Bailey's body. Meanwhile, Kane is explaining that he's very old and actually died too, and he used Phipps's body to transfer his consciousness and remain alive. He explains that this is his devil fruit powers. He also explains his motives that he needed to gain more power by controlling King Hamburger as he in very critical debts to someone. Group has an idea that if they knock out Phipps, Bailey would gain her mind back. Therefore, Yoken tries to reach Phipps in one swoop and hits one of Bailey's booby traps and falls asleep down the stairs. Kai is shooting at Bailey from the way back until, surprisingly, Lieutenant Pluto comes riding on Bailey's wolf. He explains that as soon as Wolf heard Kai's excellent whistle, she ran back to the marine base and took him to the palace. Pluto has, as Rustage calls them, shorter swords, and has some injections with him. He uses one of heal injections on Damien, reviving the cyborg recruit. Taiga's still facing off Bailey one-on-one, which is honestly kind of badass and such a cool moment for Taiga. While that is happening, Bradley tries to reach Bailey and falls on another Bailey's booby traps too and falls asleep down the stairs as well. Also, Yoken woke up from one of the crossbow bolts explosions. Yoken's next move was reaching Phipps and she knocked him out, but Bailey was still mind-controlled by Kane. Kai reached Bailey while riding on her wolf and had such a cinematic combo attack with Taiga. Damien helped wake up Bradley after using catapult attack, launching poison that Pluto gave him. Bailey still manages to knock out Kai and Taiga, while also holding off Yoken back. In the end, her wolf clutches and knocks the marine captain out. The end of the fight. Now, as both Phipps and Bailey are unconscious, Pluto helps Kai and Taiga, and they regroup to discuss on what to do next. We find out that Bailey would never go to Kane's office as she never trusted the man, and she got controlled by touching Phipps's hand in the hospital. And also, we know that Kane is like couple of months dead, so the Kibbleton office is actually empty. So when Bailey went to the main building back then, it was just Kane going back to his office and Captain's body. I wonder though, if, like, people in Kibbleton Incorporated know about Kane's devil fruit abilities. Like those security guards. Did they know that Bailey was their boss? Did they know that Kane is long dead? These are some interesting questions to ponder about. Damien investigates what Bailey had on her, and finds card and some keys to Kane's office. And at that moment, we have another individual coming in. It's some girl who has puffy green hair, a black gas mask and a black overcoat with tanks of liquid on her. I put that description in the prompt and had this image generated by Stable Diffusion XLAI. So she was watching the whole battle and noticed Damien taking Kibbleton's stuff. So she begins to explain that Kibbleton Inc. and her organization had an agreement that whenever Kane dies, her company takes over his corporation. She also throws what I assume are copies of their contract, and there are 7 signatures in it. She asked Damien to hand over the keys. Damien, obviously knowing that this behavior could not be presented to a Marine soldier, and also, the criminal case on Kibbleton is not finished yet. There are some things needed to be processed, so he just factually denies this lady. Taiga turns around and upon seeing this woman, he recognizes her as his ex-girlfriend, Malady. Malady starts to deny all of this dating stuff, which is kind of funny. But returning to the serious things, Pluto seems very terrified and knows how strong that green-haired woman is, so he explains it to Damien, and in the end, Damien gives those keys, but he still manages to make projections of them, so later on he could build them using materials. So, that was something. Very intriguing, honestly. New character, new villain organization to face against. I loved this scene, and the fight too. But to be fair, it was not that hard in my opinion as Marrow's fight. At least, I felt less pressure or danger in this fight against Captain Bailey. Just my personal opinion. And also I don't know if that's a good thing to compare to One Piece DND or not. So let me know in the comments below. Actually, something interesting to note. While group was discussing what to do with Phipps and Bailey's bodies as they don't know if Bailey is still controlled by Kane, they discuss weakness of devil fruit users, water. Bradley suggests to throw them in the ocean water so the devil fruit powers would nullify. Yoken says that she didn't know that how this works as she even didn't know if devil fruits existed or not. Bradley adds on that he had a friend who ate a devil fruit, but because they were fishman, it was kind of stupid. The most interesting thing is Kai's reaction upon hearing about devil fruits. Kai begins to cry a bit. I wonder what incident happened in Kai's environment that involved devil fruits, and maybe drowning in water. Maybe some tragedy in Kai's family or his surroundings. Anyway, they handcuff Phipps and Bailey, and they go towards the water, where they dunk them in it. Phipps wakes up by Damien poking him with a stick, and asking about his deal is. He starts to explain that he was actually very poor until Seven Sisters came in and gave him some money. And he went on taking money from them to build his monopoly here in Bollywood. He wanted to have a full control over the country, so he would gain military power by controlling Marines through Hamburger's orders. He also clears on that Marine hunters are just some freaks that he hired, so he could get rid of Marines interrupting his monopoly. And yes, Damien was right about where their base was located, in Statue of Freedom's Head. In addition, Damien tells the group about those 7 signatures: Malice, Joy, Malady, Kip, Demur, Nurse, Minnie. And after hearing those names, Taiga goes on to say, oh, they know each other? As apparently when Taiga was talking about his 7 ex-girlfriends, he was talking about 7 sisters. After waking up, Bailey is herself again. Pluto clears her up on everything that happened, and she's very surprised that our group took her on and defeated her. She's still a bit of embarrassed and says that she would defeat any of them in 1v1 but still congratulates them, and decides to rank them up. So, for reference, they all were seaman recruits. Bailey ranks Kai up to seaman first class as she heard that he was not fighting during library fight. She also ranks Taiga up to seaman first class. She ranks Yoken and Bradley as petty officers, but clarifies that she regards Yoken higher than Bradley, like Petty Officer 1 and Petty Officer 2. And finally, she ranks up Damien for all his hard work he did, his confidence in his actions and not fearing of taking lead, to Chief Petty Officer, making Damien the highest ranked among the group. Let's congratulate our boys. Yay! Also, when asked on what to do with Kane and body of Phipps, Taiga, after thinking for a while, decided not to kill him and just let him rot behind the jail, and went alone to Marine Base. When group went back to the Marine Base, they noticed Taiga looking more serious and determined. He saluted Captain Bailey and said that he will serve so the justice will prevail. Also, Bailey has 2 wolves, 1 girl, 1 boy. One's named after her mother, Paige. Another is named after certain someone who essentially raised Bailey after her mother died, Dane. Bailey doesn't know who her actual father was. Also, Dane Goodman became a Marine after heist on Blue Blood territory. We need to remember that. Maybe we will meet him again. Bailey started to talk about the next mission on taking on 7 sisters. They are Mafia gang, one of the enormous ones that are called the 5 Families of the West. Mafias that control underworld operations in the West Blue. They are canonical, by the way, in the original One Piece world. One of the supernovas, Capone Beige, was the leader of one. A little trivia for y'all. They are possibly based off the real-life 5 families, which were the 5 major crime families controlling New York. It is also possible that the leader of 7 Sisters bounty is at least 300 million bellies, according to One Piece Wiki. So, the 7 Sisters do not usually slip and do everything by law, as Pluto said. But now, They messed up by threatening Marine officers. And Bailey goes on about certain rumors she heard. There will be an auction that will apparently have very important Marine equipment, and she throws a photo of certain black armor, which Damien immediately recognizes. The end of the episode. To be continued. Also, as group levels up to level 3, they go to subclassing. The highest HP of 28 is shared by both Yoken and Taiga. Rustage decided to level up Taiga as well as he tries something different with him. Kai and Damien both have 24. Bradley had 6 this time. I don't remember what HP he had before. Kai probably going Beast Master with Primal Companion. Taiga's just a fighter, but Rustage would probably subclass him into something of his own rules.